Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Wednesday, May the 14th. The markets are open and they are in the green this morning. If we take a look at the Bloomberg, the big headlines are on President Trump again because he loves the media and he is flying around the world, currently in the Middle East, making deals, trying to push for investment in the U.S., trying to collect $1 trillion worth of investment, not 1 billion, but 1 trillion from the Saudis and the Emirates and Qatar and all the nations over there, thinking about changing the status of Syria, but trying to get Iran to the table to negotiate over their nuclear implementations and then threatening them with further lockdowns, really pivoting from locking out both Syria and Iran to now locking out Iran, opening up Syria, accepting planes from princes over in, I believe it was Qatar, that will be turned into the new Air Force One because an American company and American engineering can't deliver Air Force One in the time frame required. He ordered a new Air Force One, I believe 2 Air Force Ones, back in his first presidential term. They've yet to be built, so he does not want to wait. He wants one of these new planes. He likes flying in newer planes, and so he's going to accept this from the Middle East. It's probably going to be riddled with listening and tracking devices. It's going to take a heck of a long time to retrofit, but it's a huge win in his mind for the U.S., and we'll see if it is ever compromised when he's on it, and maybe he will regret that decision. Let's hope that doesn't happen. We've got a whole bunch of things going on, but to be honest, there's just a lot of forward momentum in the markets right now with all of the indices in the green. There's a resurgence around tech and AI, which is driving up stocks like Nvidia, Meta, Microsoft. The ones moving less would be Amazon and Google. Both have somewhat been hit. Apple as well, making announcements, but with their earnings kind of missing on earnings and missing on cloud growth. Those companies have gone down. Others have gone up, Palantir being one of those. TSMC, also one of those that's moving higher in the day. You've got some folks that are falling. So Amazon is down. Broadcom has had a couple of great days. So it's down almost $2, but insignificant because it's climbed up huge into the 230s. If we just look at the 1 month, this was down in the 160s. It's now up in the 230s. So that's a pretty massive move in the course of 30 days. Lam Research is climbing. It's down from its high today, but it's up overall. AMD's moving forward. Shopify's up. onsemi is up. ARM is climbing higher. Microsoft, you can see. So really all the tech and semi companies that are in that AI space and have had positive earnings are moving upwards. Apple's was up. It's now down for the day. Palantir is near record highs, up in the 129, almost 130 range. One that's off that does have earnings coming up in along the time frame of Nvidia, which is up, is Micron. So Micron's off currently. It was up this morning. It's now down. Applied Materials, they're going to announce earnings fairly soon, actually tomorrow. So we'll have to hear from them. We've also got Walmart in the retailers tomorrow, and Walmart could give us a pretty good indication into the U.S. consumer spending and U.S. consumer confidence on Main Street as opposed to maybe a backward lagging indicator. So that'll be interesting to hear their forward guidance if they provide any, because many firms haven't in this quarter. And if it is positive, it'll then turn to what their gross and net profit margins are and how they're managing through this, what their thoughts are around the holiday season in the fall and into Christmas, so Black Friday into U.S. Thanksgiving and then into the Christmas timeframe, whether the shelves will be less stocked due to shipments being delayed or canceled altogether with tariff prices and increases. And then we go down into finance, and financials are doing really well. I mean, they have climbed significantly over the last 30 days. They're going to be one of the first to report in July. I'm pretty bullish on financials because I think we're going to start to see IPOs for the big investment banks start to materialize in the second half of the year, and that's going to propel additional earnings forward for them. But the trading volatility that we've seen in the first half is what's really going to allow them to have record profits and record gains. That said, I do expect that some of these trade talk discussions, which are really fake news is the best way to put it. I mean, there are agreements that are being made, but nothing is being done. There's actually no details really behind these agreements and behind the scenes. So until we actually get some details on these trade agreements, and we start to see some transactions, you can't really believe anything. I mean, I ran a business in the past, and I would sign contracts with companies that agreed to procure services from us for IT in my case, but then sometimes they never materialized. They decided at some point they were not going to move forward. So the agreement was just to allow transactions to occur. It wasn't a material amount in all cases, and even when it was a material amount that was agreed to, they'd still go back on their word and renege half the time, and then it would go into legal, or we'd have to have renegotiations. So these initial agreements are pretty much meaningless, and yet the market is taking these as the step forward, which I think is a little premature at this point. So again, still be risk averse with your capital. If you feel like you missed out on this recovery and you didn't buy the dip, don't worry and don't think about the fear of missing out. There's going to be another pullback here this year. It could be even more significant from the first, in my opinion. And that, I think, will be a time when we start to hear more about the outcome of the tariffs and where we are with the economy, to maybe have a look at getting back in if you are sitting with cash. But just be happy that you've been able to preserve your capital if you are sitting in cash and you're earning some decent money market rates. And you've always got a chance to buy back in, but don't jump into the market now with the fear of missing out, because the market is always, it's always too late when everything's green for 4 or 5 days to buy in. That's when you usually achieve the biggest losses. So be careful out there. Good luck in your trades. And if you're liking the videos, please hit the like and subscribe button.